Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here, and welcome to another Nikke video. Is this the end of Nikke as we know it? I got a lot of questions asked like that today when news broke out that Shiftup, the creators of Nikke, has decided to go public at a projected valuation of 2.3 billion US dollars in Korea. So, I wanted to give you guys my unbiased take on this situation and also offer you some history with regards to what happened to Shiftup and Nikke starting in 2018. But I'll be lying if I said I'm not worried about the future of Nikke because like some of the commentators in the subreddit, their worries are reasonable because once a company does go public, of course, the profits of the shareholders are going to be at the forefront of their concerns, right? They will, of course, try to maximize the profit. And does that mean the end of Nikke's free-to-play viability? Is that why the treasure system was introduced? And of course, most concerning, are we going to get censorship because it's going to be a public company? Now, again, I'm going to take a little step back all the way back to 2018, okay? So it's story time with Papa Tim. So I believe Shiftup announced the Goddess Victory pretty early. I don't remember the exact time, whether it be 2018 or 2019, but we did get the concept of the jiggly ass around that time, right? And you can see a Korean company, We Made Entertainment, bought 4.2% of the Shiftup shares in 2018 at 7.4 million US dollars. And in 2023 October, sold them for 53.9. That is just over sevenfold profit, which is really amazing. Now, Nikke was announced and there was a lot of hype, but the demo and the CBT closed beta test, which I was lucky enough to participate in the first one, didn't really come out until much later. But the ass jiggle, the cultured We Made Entertainment, made a gamble, and of course it paid off. The 2023 sale of the 4.2% was actually sold to Tencent, and we knew that Tencent actually invested twice. Now, We Made selling it and giving Tencent 4.2% was a more well-known aspect, but previously Tencent also had a 20% stake, so that added up to 24%. Now, if you guys didn't know, the publisher of Nikke, all right, Level Infinite, is a subsidiary of Tencent. So as the publisher, of course, they have a very vested interest in the success of Nikke. And we can see here the Shiftup CEO Kim Hyun-tae still owns 45% of the studio's shares. Now, there was also a picture back in the days that the CEO went to Saudi Arabia and managed to secure some investment as well, which again, it was mentioned briefly here. So Nikke, basically at the last stage of the funding round, was very successful. Shiftup found great success as they raked in millions of revenue from Nikke alone, especially how wildly successful it was in Japan. And of course, Shiftup, being the publisher, or rather Tencent, did a lot of work in the overseas marketing, that's no doubt. Now, all in all the players currently, Saudi Arabia, Tencent, Nikke, Shiftup, everyone has made really good profit. And of course, the players are happy because, you know what, who would spend this much money if they didn't enjoy the game, right? So fast forward, so that was October 2023, and now we're in March of 2024, and Shiftup is aiming for, of course, the IPO. With the release of Stellar Bait, which was due, I think, soon. I don't have the exact date, but this year for sure. So I'm going to assume that they were trying to ride the wave of the Stellar Blade, and if this game does really well, this is going to be super good for the company, and of course the valuation is going to skyrocket. Now, to address some of the concerns, okay? So first off, I do think the company, at its core, every single company is going to try to maximize revenue, whether or not it's IPO'd or not, because of course they have, you know, people they need to feed. I don't believe that everyone is a saint. They all have their own wishes and wants. So the revenue is going to be at the core of the company. Of course, once it goes public, shareholders are going to have a bit more say, so maybe revenue is going to be even more prioritized. But revenue has been, key from the start, because if you can't even pay your employees, your game or your company will not exist. Okay. Now, the other part, the censorship. So there was a pretty big concern when Christmas rolled around and we had our first winter limited, and there was problems with, quote unquote censorship. I think this is a bigger problem that I personally want to address, is that if Nikke does see a change in the art direction just because the game goes public, that's going to be extremely, extremely bad. Okay. If we start getting characters that are fully covered and not, like the recent D killer, top tier waifu character that is so beautifully done event wise, full burst wise, and image wise, then Nikke will lose a lot of its selling points. I think that's obvious to everyone involved. But I don't think Shiftup is going to do Nikke like that, because if you guys didn't know, there's a little story about Stellar Blade. Okay, so Stellar Blade recently was extremely controversial over on Twitter. I only caught news because someone shared this to me, because what happened was they're saying the Stellar Blade character is very unrealistic. If you've seen her in the bodysuit, oh my goddamn lord, what a body! I mean, definitely Nikke tier. But on the Twitter, people came out and said, you know what, this is not realistic. Why are you creating inaccurate projections of females? The funny part was that the CEO came out and said, you know what, we actually used motion capture, and here is the model we used. And they actually showed the motion capture of the model who acted as the MC of Stellar Blade. And my god, her body. Yes. So if the CEO is, willing to step up and say things like this, I think we shouldn't count Nikke out just yet. Not the fully clothed coats everywhere and all that stuff. And if you guys remember, I think there was a previous leak about Modernia being covered, and then the CEO replied on Facebook of all places, saying that it will be the more revealing version. But again, like I've said, things can change. Money changes people, and potentially this IPO, if it does successfully go through, will instantly make the CEO and some of the higher ups billionaires right away. They will be overnight billionaires, and that amount of money might change people. So I don't know what to say about the future of Nikke. I can only hope that they stay true to their game, because I know previously Destiny Child was a very much beloved game, and a lot of people were very sad to see it EOS, end of service. Now, that is the last thing I want to see happen to Nikke. They lose their fan base, people don't want to spend because Nikke is not what it used to be, and then EOS. I don't think that'll be the case, because again, it circles back to profit. If Nikke Shiftup wants profit, they know what sells, right? And in this case, sex sells. So I'm hoping they at least maximize that, and I hope they understand that you can still make the free-to-play players happy while making a lot of profit. Because if you guys remember, our anniversary patch, which Nikke gave out 127 free pulls, was able to double the revenue from 14 to 30 million US dollars that month. So Nikke can do it right, even if you become very free to play friendly to the new players, to the OGs, the players that stuck with you for day one. So I don't think we can count them out yet, but reading the comments, I can see why, because I haven't seen a company that went public and in the eyes of the public put the players first, right? I don't think that has ever happened. Usually when a company goes public, they have made a lot of money, and then it's just going to be extremely profit driven. They're not listening to the community, or you know what, they just go off and do their own thing and use Nikke and even Stellar Blade as stepping stones to do other stuff, and they start releasing sequels, Nikke 2, Stellar Blade 2, with the same formula, with minimal investment and effort, and try to make some easy money for the shareholders. Well, I hope that's not a video I'll make in the future anytime soon. And with the upcoming 1.5 anniversary, I think there's a lot to look forward to in Nikke. I just hope this news and the further IPO of Nikke, or Shiftup rather, it doesn't change what Nikke is at its core, because I truly love the game. It's an idle game that respects my time. Dailies are super fast. You can go ham and be very competitive if you want in solo raids and union raids, but most importantly, the characters Nikke has created is absolutely gorgeous. You know, we all came for the plot and stayed for the actual plot. I've said this time and time again. Nikke is a great game, and I really hope that the IPO of Shiftup does not change that. Anyhow, that's all I wanted to say. I love the game, as many of you guys do as well. So I don't want to get off this train, and I hope Shiftup keeps us strapped in for this ride. Anyhow, it's TimaeuSS here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye now.